Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. Keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line, and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, in these ongoing meditation sessions, we mainly try to share some basic information for ourselves to have a very good, clear foundation, especially for your meditation practice. So, when it comes to meditation, it's mainly based with the practice. But still, you have to know very clearly what we have to practice and how we have to practice. So when it comes to our life, we all look for happiness and satisfaction. And for that, we have to come to a point to be very clear with our own mind. So without that clarity, we can't gain any success or any development out of our life. So when it comes to life, there are two parts. So one is material and other one is consciousness. So another way we can call it spiritual. One is mind, another one is the matter. So one is physical, one is spiritual. Another way, one is conventional, one is eternal. So like there are two paths. But these both parallel and have a connection each other. You can't, this is very important, you can't separate. But at the same time, in the beginning, to understand this, we have to go step by step. By the end, you can recognize the very nature of the integration and the very nature of the harness and very nature of interdependent. But go into that, So the one of the important thing, we have to be aware about our own consciousness. So when it comes to this all, to get into and understand this all we call self-realization. So now you have to know the very purpose of the self-realization, get out of the suffering. So that suffering doesn't mean from this point we go into another place and find our security. So the suffering or the satisfaction come out of our own inner behavior, not the outside circumstances. So then this self-realization based on our own inner mental practice. So when it comes to that practice, it is all depend on the condition of our mind, another way which we call the consciousness. That's why understanding regarding the consciousness is very important. Because once you understand the very nature of the consciousness, and that is another way, you gain the wisdom to self-realization. And physically, what is the important thing? All these physical organs has a certain kind of nature and behavior, follow inside connection. These all organs interconnected. That all the organs depend on the behavior of the consciousness. Even according to the modern science, even they don't recognize the consciousness separately, they take it as the mind or the brain, but still they know there is some connection out of this body. And there are now new research keep coming, because they only talk about the mind and they only more focus to the thoughts, and believing the development of the mind and development of thoughts, you can gain things. But our purpose is more understanding and recognizing deeply, rather than gaining this anything, to realize the very nature of it. So when it comes to the realization, you have to know, basically, it is a very different way of mental behavior, realization. So when you realize something, it's not going to change anything that what happened outside. And even it's not going to change anything physically in you. It's nothing to interfere with the materially, nothing to interfere with the physically. But what happens when the realization happens? As example, in any situation, when you say, oh, I realize it, that means there is a shift happen in you with your own point of view. So this is what we need. This is what we need regarding what? Regarding our own life, not the outside world. So it will happen once you have the realization regarding you. So what is this self then? The self means the entire process of consciousness-based mind and the body, this all the names and forms related to us, our experience. So how you can realize it? So now you should know why this is important. That is very important to understand. So if I summarize that again a little bit, our main purpose is self-realization. And why we have to self-realize? Because to get out of the suffering. So what is the suffering? Means that our inner behavior and the way we understand things in the wrong way. So for that, we have to get into a very clear mind and know what is very behavior happening with us. Why? Because that everything depend on our perspective. And everything depend on the first person point experience. And when it comes to your life, your point of view is the epicenter of your very self. So your perspective, first person experience, your point of view become clear. What will happen out of your bodily, verbally, mentally actions, whatever come, going to change. So this to happen this inner change, we have to come to a method to get into access to that. So that is one thing with the spiritual development. And the material development when it comes to our body. And as you know, this entire body, depending in each and every organ, have the communication and interdepending system inside us that all depend on according to the condition of your consciousness. That's where the karma also come and play a part. So as example, when you die, your consciousness start to get into another place. So that is where you start to accumulate again this physical body. So then what does that mean? That means according to the condition of the consciousness that your next moment going to change. So in case if you understand that, then will become very clear. And what will happen? You have ability to change it. So, but the thing is this, by the time what happened? So this is the mistake we does. As you know, very famous example come with the computer related to the mind. And everywhere, most of the scientists and philosophers nowadays, and the most of people try to explain the mind through computer. And even that great philosopher, Krishnamurti, and if you listen to his some talks, he was so afraid about the computer. And when he talked about computer, he was kind of like, get so mad, and he was predicting that the computer going to destroy the entire, the human nature or the behavior or the wisdom. So he also used to, so there are a lot of philosophers, spiritual leaders, that scientists try to explain this consciousness, this mind through machines. So that is the great mistake that even we does. What the reason is, why? Because the consciousness is the first person experience. And when you forget it and jumping to something else to recognize it, what happened, you in that very moment, you disconnecting from the consciousness, because the consciousness is not material. Your brain is material. your thoughts material. That's why it come out of the names and forms. But using the machines, especially the computer, the well-known the example is very wrong. Why? Because it doesn't have first-person experience. But the consciousness, the mind deeply have the connection with the first-person experience. Right now, right here, as who you are, what you experience is very limited to your own moment of experience. You can't get the example out of outside object. If you try to do that, in that very moment, what happens, you disconnect from the moment of your own experience. So then what will happen? When the first person point of view disconnect from in that very moment of experience, what you understand, it doesn't work. So the meditation is the method bringing you to exactly to the right point, because there is no any other way. 2,600 years ago, that's why the Buddha exactly told. We don't need to believe it because that's the Buddha taught. So you have to come to a point how you can recognize the consciousness. Because the consciousness or the mental behavior, you can't recognize by analyzing your past or the future. You can analyze it only by experience. So the by experience means not by believing, not by following, not by listening, not by reading, not by worshipping. You can't get that. The experience means in the moment, your conscious need to interfere and you have to get into that. So with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, you have to interfere. And that interference should be experience and rational. So what is the rational means? The rational means the reasoning and logic you develop with your own experience. That is very important. So that happen only in the present moment. In the present moment, with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. So remember, this method only in Vipassana. 2,600 years ago, that's why Buddha taught, to get into this, you can't have any other method. It called Ekayano Ayam Maggo Satipatthana. You can get by only developing your awareness. There's no any other way. You don't need to believe it because of the Buddha taught. Just come to the very simple moment of your moment of experience. With your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, when you experience something, and you have to come to experience it, reasoning and developing the logical mind on your own experience within your own consciousness. Who can do it? No one can do. And when you can do it, because you need the experience with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, and that what you see in the moment, you can't get in the later. What you experience that here in the moment, you can't get it in the, you can record it and then you can, film it and do it. Then it becomes another experience. Because this is not going to happen. So then you can catch it only in the moment. So when the awareness become that tuned to the moment and recognize it and be with it, in that very moment, what happens? You start to understand The very experience is not just thought. That is what that understanding is the important thing. Remember, your experience is not just the thoughts, but in day-to-day life, what happened? We become very limited to thoughts. That is what called the sanskara. That's what called the memory. Our very life addicted to thoughts and the patterns. So then we go with that, what happened? We neglect our moment of experience. So then the meditation allows you to drop the memory, drop the thoughts, and you go beyond that, and you have a direct connection to your experience, the moment of experience. And even in the Bible, in the Christianity, all the manifestation happen not in the past or not in the future. Your manifestation happen according to the God will. It happened in the present moment. So forget about the God, but the concept of that manifestation come out of the condition of your consciousness. So the same thing with your life in the very first level, you have to understand this very carefully. If you get this, your whole life going to change. So that means you change your samsara. You are the one who can do it. Otherwise, if you base with the memory, if you going to experience the life with the thought based point of view, if you're going to experience the life with the pattern behavior, if you're going to experience the life with the memory, you will never get out of it. You can understand it very simply. You don't need any kind of different kind of knowledge for that. If you addicted to the memory, what will happen? Look at our day-to-day life. And our body, even we know, our body just keep going. We can't get out of it. And maybe you know you should not do that, but still you keep doing it. Why? Because that knowing part, even though you know that, you are conscious that you never develop it, you never experience your life with the first person experience, conscious based with experience. You mostly experience in the mind. That means thoughts. And even the Einstein one time told, never go against the consciousness. Even the state or the government tell you, don't go against the consciousness. So gut feelings means also you go beyond the thoughts and you tune to the consciousness. So then you have to come to a point. What is this consciousness? So that most of time when it comes to our life from childhood to now, we try to understand things by material. Even that our all emotions, sometimes we try to neutralize through materials. But the thing is, it is totally different way of behavior. So sometimes our love, our anger, our hatred, jealousy, this everything we try to maintain through material, but it never going to end. Because this deeper behavior you can do by that, uproot by, change by understanding, not by verbalizing or not by materializing. So that is the method of meditation. See that you give up this everything and you deeper into your own mind and see the thoughts, and there you recognize these things, and that recognizing itself become the solutions to that all the mistakes that happen inside you. When you come out of your meditation, you purified. So that's means in the outside world, that's all the material things, nothing to do with that your inner meditation. But in day-to-day life, what happens? Even out of the meditation, out of the mental development, we try to overtake or the control or the change outside situations. So you can't do it. But there is a way, let it happen. Don't try to do it, because once you try to do it, what will happen? You jump from one state to another level, and you completely disconnect from the pure nature of the happening. So in the very first level, you have to get connected to this happening level. That's mean once it come to that, so it doesn't have any kind of, it not depend on the time, it not depend on the space. It's a kind of like a pure light. It doesn't have any darkness, and it doesn't have a low energy or high energy, and it doesn't have any gender. It's always in the same vibration, and it has power to get connect with anything. So how you can access to that? So the very important thing is you have to settle down in the present moment. So that is the key point. And then you have to get out of that. The get out of mean, it's not from here to you go there. You slowly give more attention to your experience. That's the important thing, not what you think. Give your attention to what you experience. So in this very moment, if you give attention to your mind, your experience become different. Just as a person, in this very sitting and this hearing, this whole process, entire being giving you kind of like an experience. Can you catch it? So if you become aware, you can catch it. If you in the la la land or somewhere else, you can't, you miss it. There's nothing wrong with that. But then at least you have to do it again and again and again. You know, it's not going to happen overnight, but there's a possibility you can touch it. And once you get into that consciousness, you know yourself. You don't need any authorization. You don't need any kind of initiation. Once you get into that, you know, oh, beyond my thoughts, my awareness is there. That's what you need. You have to recognize that's it. That you come to in another way, the self-realization. You recognize something. You never thought about it. Why you more busy with your life to maintain your thoughts? But as we all know, thought related to thoughts very limited. Thought has very limited power. So the thoughts we learn, thoughts depend on names and forms. And it go with the memory. It's not the life. This is what you have to remember. Your thoughts, not your life. So Rather than giving attention to thoughts, give the attention to your life. So can you experience the life without thoughts? So then you think, of course you can, but you can't explain the life. It is only can experience. When you try to explain it, what will happen? You get out of the experience, and then it becomes something else. And then in day-to-day life, what happened to us? So now recognize understand the pattern. When you can experience the life, but you can't explain it to somebody. But what happened to us? We try to understand the life by listening to others. You can't do it. You know, it doesn't work. Look at the world. You know, children take they sometimes when the situations come and they go to psychologists, you know, therapists, and sometimes husband wife go to family counseling, you know, and sometimes you put some other theories or the ideas on top of you, and you just cover up the table, putting a tablecloth. You never experience. Why it happened like that? Because we have a habit, even in the spiritual life. Look at, you know, people go behind the guru, you know, yogi or master, you know, behind, or need to stay close to. Why? Good energy, good energy. You know, as you know, the good energy can't do anything for the realization. It cannot give the understanding. It may give a kind of like a, you know, comfortable environment. Of course, you know, when we are around good people, you know, nice people, it feels nice. It's very nature. Not only people, with the animals, with the trees, environment, you know, it's a very part of life. But it doesn't give you this first person realization. You can't get it. So then you have to come to a point. Take that authority to you, responsibility to you. And then what you need to do. So you get that, you listen to it, you get that. Another thing is, and as you know, Eightfold Path and all the right things that it explain. We don't need to go to that. So what you need to do, what it try to does, try to get a very good balanced life and develop a good structure for you. In that structure, be careful with your bodily, verbally, mentally actions, not to gain any harm to you, and also not to do any harm to others. And get into a good structure yourself, mental balance, physical balance, and have very clear mindset with your own bodily, verbally, mentally action. And once you have that foundation, bring some kind of clarity, and not only the clarity, it gives a kind of like a strength in you. Because in this life, to live a life, forget about the spiritual life. You know, it's spiritual life is it's not nice. It is so ugly path. You know, if you are not strong, you can't walk on this path. That is the ugly truth. You know, this is a mess. So even forget about the spirituality. This ordinary life, if you don't have the strength, the physical strength, mental strength, just physically, forget about the old spiritual, how you can have a life. Look, even in day-to-day life, how many people try to overtake your life. Sometimes parents overtake children's life. Then they don't allow to, have just simple, and they don't allow to have this person experience. They don't allow to have their own point of view regarding sometimes simple things. Even regarding, when you see a flower, if it is red, but sometimes if other person tell, no, it is white, you have to believe it as white. You have to say, oh yes, it is white. Otherwise, they give a hard time to you. And sometimes husband try to overtake the wife, wife try to overtake the husband, children try to overtake the parents, parents try to overtake the children. People like to overtake people. No. So in the conventional, say, if you don't have that clarity in you, how you can get out of it? You can't. So from our forefathers, ancestors, grandparents to parents to grandparents, grandparents, sometimes it is a family culture overtaking other person's life, not allowing that person to have the first person that experience, not allowing that person to have their own point of view regarding simple things. They don't allow. Even today we talk about the freedom. It doesn't happen. It's not going to be there. Look at even in America. Here, they're not allowed to have the female president. It's everybody knows. No, so like that, it's once it become a tradition, it's not allow you to find your own point of view. So to make everything nice, make everything clear, calm, look beautiful, we have to accept others, and we have to follow, and we have to worship others, and we have to become a puppet for others. That is the reality. So in that reality, if you want to find your own first person experience, you have to have the strength. So that strength giving in the Buddha's path. That's why the community of the Sangha in the Buddha's teaching is not like the congregations. It is totally different. And this is more not just by listening and saying sadhu sadhu. No, you have to come to a point. You have your own point of view, and you have to be rational to make it reasonable, and how you have to develop the logic based on your own first person experience in the present moment regarding your own eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. That is so beautiful. If you understand that, you will recognize how blissful you are even to have that moment. And that is where you gain the moment of bliss, and that moment bliss give the strength to each and every atom in you, because that strength you need. Why? Once you break down these social barriers, cultural, spiritual barriers, and then we have to go into our own mental behavior, which we call the sanskar, mental formations, or the cankers, our emotions, desires, this all inside. It is more ugly than the society. At least society, you can cover up that things. But look how ugly sometimes our mind. When the thoughts want something, and it has power to destroy everything, and thoughts overtake that and bring it up. And then when the emotions need something, look your own life. Forget about other theories. Look into your own life. When you want something, you don't care about what the culture, tradition, what the good, bad, what the meditation or what the enlightenment. Your mind doesn't care about your enlightenment or liberation. Your thoughts, your emotions doesn't care. It just go for that. That's the very nature. That's the very behavior. And we have to understand it. So without strength, how you can go through it? That's what the you have to ask, not to challenge to that. Because remember, realization is not go against anything. Realizing, let things to be there like that, but your point of view going to become more different. So once you know, okay, this is strong this much, and your thoughts are strong, but once you recognize, oh, awareness is more better than thoughts, stronger than thoughts, and then you go and get into the awareness, sharp the awareness, and then the thoughts become weaker. And then when the thoughts arise, you are aware about it, and then it doesn't go anymore. So by the time what will happen, little by bodily behavior, physical behavior, and then slowly going to go away. Why? Because now you develop more stronger tool. It's kind of like you start to have a war with the shotgun, one by one, tuck, but you come with the multi-barrel, rocket launcher. So your awareness is like that. That's so powerful. That's the only powerful thing that we have. But that is the most neglected, thing in our life. That's the very reason we into most of the difficulties. And that's why we into the world and we try to struggle with this outside world, that the struggle itself come as a suffering. And once you understand the very behavior, the very nature, once you get connected to the consciousness, from that point, you have a different journey. But before we into that, we should not talk about that journey. So the very first thing then, remember that everything impermanent. There is nothing exists concrete with the concrete things. There is nothing that permanent, that any consciousness. It's just the moment of experience. But first thing, bring your abilities to go into that the moment of experience, this knowingly part, that as who you are in this very moment, right now, right here, that what you experience in this first person experience, your own perspective in the moment, coming from inside, is happening only right now, right here. So give attention to that. So in the beginning, you no need to go into whole body. Because then the mind start to sometimes go into here and there. Then because then you catch it by physical layer, and then again it become a material. So that's why you should not do it. So that's why your point of view, that the mental object is very necessary, because start from little by little, and then it allow it to grow. So by the time, because when it come to that, it is very important you have to experience without any physical or material layer. So that is the key. And once you have it, you will know yourself, who you are. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit. And your right palm on your left, and neck straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. So bring your attention to your body and scan head to toes yourself and say Sopatveva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. And take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment. This is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime. And detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalations and exhalations. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. Do nothing extra. Just recognize it. Just know you're not the feelings, not the body, not the mind, but your awareness is the main. Just work with it. Bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe, also as far as you can, through galaxies, other planets, stars, reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your left side. To your right side. And to your left side. Downward and upward. To all six directions at once. Like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest, wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Also may all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata channi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi Attaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadi maranam paribundissami Idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.